Many of the conversations that I start having with clients are about something quite tactical. We don't have enough pipeline. Our sellers aren't converting the deals. Our onboarding takes too long. But as you start peeling away at those problems, you start to see that many companies have got a real gap in terms of their overall company strategy, or they haven't really got one. And in this short video, I want to take you through how I see strategy as influenced by reading the book Playing to Win a number of years ago. And in that, the authors, I should say, who are both an ex-CEO of Procter & Gamble and his consulting right-hand man, talk through how they defined and developed the strategic choices that helped Procter & Gamble to become the global success that it is today. They really look at strategy as a set of cascading choices from the top down to the bottom, and I'll just walk you through that right now. So first off, what is the goal? What does winning look like? And for many companies, they haven't articulated that in a way that can be described to the rest of their team, to their investors, to their customers. What is the goal that we're aiming at, that when we get there, we'll know we've achieved it? Having defined what success looks like, we can then start to make some decisions about where we're going to play. What is the field that we are going to play on? And here we think about both geographies in terms of countries, territories, regions, but we might also think about different product categories that we're going to be in, and the customer segments in terms of industry or in terms of size of those customers that we're going to be selling into. We'll also be looking at how we're going to sell into those customers. Is it going to be direct, or are we going to go through some form of resale or alliances? And within those specific products, what stages of production or areas of the value chain are we going to exist in? Are we going to develop the product? Are we going to provide tools that help other people to develop the product? Are we going to provide consulting services around that product? So there are some where we will play choices to make. And having determined where we're going to play, then we need to think through how are we going to win? And that's specific about us. How are we going to win? What are we going to do differently that is going to enable us to succeed on that playing field? And so here we think about things about our value proposition. What is it that we can provide through our people, through the way that we're laid out across the globe, through some of our own intellectual property that we can take to those customers and to win? It's important to note that in a very small company, you might only have one set of where we'll play and how we'll win pairs. But as you expand either into different countries, into different segments, or maybe through acquiring different products, you might have a number of these different pairs where you're playing in this segment for that product and you're playing in that segment for another product, and you'll have discrete how we will win choices for each of those. Having agreed your sets of pairings for where we'll play and how we'll win, we then take a look at what needs to be true for us to be able to deliver on those. What capabilities do we need to have? And that might be processes, it might be people, it might be technology that needs to be in place to enable us to support that how we'll win and where we'll play choice. And then finally, what are the systems that we will need in place in terms of management systems, the reporting, the measures, the KPIs, the structures that we will require as a company in order to deliver those capabilities and then win in those strategic choices. So those are the five tiers that the authors walk through. As I described there, it's important to think of where to play and how to win choices as a combination. One doesn't exist without the other. Having made decisions around where you want to play in terms of geographies, categories, customer segments, then for each of those, we need to think through what are the unique ways that we can compete to deliver on those where to play choices. And then finally, the authors walk through a process for thinking about strategy. How do you, as a leadership team, get the creative juices flowing to define these strategic choices? They call it the strategy logic flow, and we start over on the left with a set of questions about the industry that we're targeting. And this is really about where we want to play. We're not yet thinking about our product. We're not yet thinking about why our product is great. We're just looking at two aspects of the market at large. Segmentation. So what are the distinct segments? And here we might think about different geographies. We might think about different customer segments. We might think about different product areas that we're targeting. And then having defined that segmentation, um, which of those areas do we think are most attractive? Is the SMB market the one where we can get much higher volume and we can maintain a high price point? Or is it the larger enterprise which is going to give us the most return? Having determined the industry perspective, we then want to take a look at how we can add value to that sector. And we're going to look at it from two aspects. So the first is channel. So if you've determined that you're going to sell through wholesale, resale, distributors, through referral partners, through marketplaces, then each of those are ultimately your customers, and they need to see some benefit, some value from what you're offering. They're not going to sell your product or service for fun. And secondly, we want to take a look at the end consumer. So from the perspective of the customer that's actually going to use your tool, what is it that they are going to get value from? And in a B2B environment, that's more than one person. We're thinking about the CFO, we're thinking about the CEO, we're thinking about the administrators, the IT team, the legal team, and the ultimate end users. Having thought through the customer value analysis, now we start to look at how we can compete to win. And this is a bit more about our how to win choices. We look at our capabilities. How do what we provide in terms of the scale and scope of our company and the products that we offer stack up against our competition? And then we look, if we're looking at ourselves as a cost player, how do these costs stack up against our competitors? Can we buy our people and our supplies and our products at a lower cost and deliver that on a better cost platform to our customers? Our final part of this logic flow is to think through what will our competition do when we make these choices. Because if they can immediately outcompete us and out innovate or replicate what we're doing, then that's going to take us back to our industry analysis and our customer value analysis to reconsider whether these strategic choices are really strategic and valuable for us, and maybe we should relook at it. So we take a look. Will they compete with us? Will they change their prices? Will they change their products? Will they leave us to do what we plan to do? And having gone through these 4 steps of the process, you now have a set of strategic choices, which are combinations of your where to play and how to win. I'll just move myself over here. You might have 2 choices: where to play choice A, which is this industry and this geography, and how to win choice X, and this is how we're going to win in that market. And then a second where to play choice B with a different set of how to win choice Y's of how we're going to win in that market. So hopefully that is useful. That takes you through this very simple guide from the book Playing to Win, the set of cascading choices to help you build out your company strategy.